Hello and welcome to this video on Goldfinger from Thing Modular, a touch-based matrix mixer made of pure gold. Here's what's to come in the video. This video is sponsored by Thing Modular and Fonk. So this is Goldfinger, a passive device that is a matrix mixer made of gold. Yes, real pure gold. It's just that the gold that I'm touching here is about 100 atoms thick. Goldfinger is a matrix mixer, and as a matrix mixer, it routes and mixes signals together. There's 6 sockets along the top here, and these can be inputs or outputs depending on how you patch them. And as Thing say on the back of it, 5 ins and 1 out would work like a mixer, 4 ins and 2 outs could be a stereo mixer, it could be 1 input and 5 outs as a signal distributor. It's entirely up to you and how you patch it, as long as there's at least 1 input and 1 output. And as it's passive and controlled by your touch, expect some bleed, noise, distortions and imperfection in how these signals are mixed and passed through. Thing state that on the back, and it's definitely all part of the fun. Goldfinger is available to buy from Fonk right now, but also in the first week of July 2026, it's being given away for free with the purchase of a workshop system. While stocks last, info link down below. I've had lots of fun exploring Goldfinger both with the workshop system, but also with a Eurorack system too. The patches are on screen and linked down below, so skip around and let's dive in. So for this first patch here, we're exploring Goldfinger, taking free inputs and sending free outputs back to the workshop system. And it's really nice to just explore with a single finger or 2 fingers, routing and playing with sound. But just so you can hear how this patch started, and I'll run through everything here on the workshop system. I'm really just exploring the great low end that the workshop system can kind of throw out from its oscillators and the humpback filter. I have the Turing machine card and the computer, providing a volt per octave for the oscillator and a gate for my slope to use like a decay envelope. The oscillator's square wave goes into the humpback filter, and we're listening to a split of the low pass with the filter modulated by the envelope. Very simple patch there, but there's just such a great... It's just got all that kind of squelch and that great kind of throaty note that's tuned too low, so it's kind of gurgling. Kind of West Coast-ish looping sequence if you like. So that's the core of the patch there, and I'll turn that down in the mix. I'm taking a split of that blue cable there as an input to Goldfinger, and these are ins or outs, so patch them as you wish. But the first 3 I'm using as if they're inputs. They are inputs. It's the low pass output. I have the band pass output from the filter as an input too, and the sine wave from the oscillator coming in on the pink cable. I then go back to the mixer with the red and purple cables to 2 channels. One is panned hard left and one is panned hard right. So we'll explore some kind of spatialization in stereo here. The other cable, the orange one, goes to the stomp box adapter and will send sound into this quite simple delay pedal, and that comes into the mix in mono. So just hunting around and playing around here. We're obviously routing to the echo there. That sounds like the bandpass filter, hard left. Over to the right there. Oof. That low end's so good. Let's maybe let this sequence develop on the Turing machine card slightly here. As you can see, I'm just kind of feeling my way through the sound, what goes through the pedal, what comes through directly. And you could of course just use this complementary to the main patch coming through. If I turn up some of the sound here, this could be something that we mix on top. So here I'm using Goldfinger with my Eurorack system, and it's just kind of propped up somewhat randomly in a place that will hold it nicely. And I'm using it here as 5 inputs and 1 output, as a signal distributor or router, choosing what gets sent to my effects. Now if I mute everything in the mix, we can just play around and see what gets sent to Isu's trifecta here, my effects. And you can just feel your way around, like I did in the first patch. And it might be that just 1 finger or 2 and you can hear the different sounds here being sent to my effects. Now outside of the effects, just to show the dry sounds here, I have my bass coming through this filter that I know around this area. Routes into the effects. I then have a mix of my clap, kick drum and some hi-hats. A snare and tom hit that's kind of probability and random driven. And my offbeat hi-hat. And I have my kick drum on this orange cable, the clap on the yellow cable, my main offbeat hi-hat split there on blue, the mix of snare and toms on the red, and the green is the synth sound. So again, 5 ins and 1 out. And I'll just gesturally play around here, rubbing Goldfinger seductively. And I'll bring in some of the other sounds and have some fun. So I was playing around with pinging the filters on the workshop system here, and ended up with this nicely abstract textural sound exploration. I have the 2 oscillators here set as low as they'll go. I'm treating those like devices to ping the filters. The 2 square waves from the oscillators, red and yellow cables, come in red and yellow here. And then coming into the input of the 2 filters, purple and orange cables. I also have the amplifier with the onboard contact mic. That I can bring in as a sound there on that green cable. And I also have the blue cable routing back to the Stompbox interface, which brings in the count to 5, which funnily is a pedal that I bought from Tom from Thing Modular some years ago. That then mixes together both pinged filters and the Stompbox interface. I've panned the 2 filters hard left and right. And that stereo mix comes out into my reverb pedal here before being recorded. If I take these pedals off just to show the dry sounds, here you can hear these filters that I'm pinging. Now, so this is routing the pulses, the oscillators that are pinging the filters through and coming back to them, and also routing that contact mic. I have some FM on one of the filters from the Turing machine card here on the computer, and that's also modulating the pitches of these oscillators, so these will run faster and slower, pinging at faster and slower rhythms. Now bringing this in, as this is kind of internal to the workshop system and the stomp box here, the count to 5 is doing a kind of octave up, glitchy, almost kind of interference kind of sound, and I've just got that low in the mix. And as I say, everything then comes through the reverb here. Go 50-50 mix on this big plate. So having kind of started more West Coast and doing some abstract things with the workshop system, and then kind of pounding techno effect send with the modular system, I wanted to do something more melodic here. And this is kind of a playful, kind of Goldfinger as a keyboard almost, or touch musical interface to play arpeggios on rings. Now there's lots of effects in the patch, I'm going to leave those on. In the background you'll hear a simple patch with the Fonk modules actually, the Fonk Synth Triangle Wave and VCA, with Contour 1 just opening and closing that VCA. That's a nice steady kind of bass in the background if you like. Then I have a rhythm, but let's mute that sound. I have a copy of my rhythm here that I'll patch straight into Ring's strum input. And it's this rhythm, the blue cables here, that is my input to the first socket there on Goldfinger. Now all the other outputs route that to different places. The orange cables route that to the clock here, as does the red and the green cables as well. They're clocking sample and holds to modulate rings. But I have the purple output gating my quantizer. So if the quantizer doesn't receive the gate, i.e. I don't press the right pads or combination of pads, I won't get a new note. But then I have the yellow cable, yellow output here, coming back into rings to strum a note. So it's a really lovely situation where my rhythm can create a new note, but maybe not play it. I can play it, but maybe repeat the note while the quantizer doesn't move, or both at the same time, and also my modulation moves. So in playing with Goldfinger here, I found that there's a point down here where I can specifically pass the pulse to strum rings. There'll be other ones. Let's try and find one. As you can see there, that move notes on the quantizer but don't fire rings. There'll be some that do both. And what's coming into the quantizer is a simple triangle arpeggio with that sent to a pentatonic scale. Now let's unmute the bass and just play around for a moment. So as I was wrapping up the video, tidying up the modular system from the last patch, this idea came to mind, which was to use this as a stereo mixer, which is one of the examples on the back of the actual PCB there. But to use it as a stereo mixer for chord tones. So I have 4 inputs, 4 different oscillators tuned to notes of a chord, 2 outputs, and those 2 outputs come into the mixer here, panned hard left and right as a stereo mix. That then feeds the effects that's then being recorded. If I remove the effects, I have a stacking cable here where I can show the root, which is an oscillating filter, the fifth, the other oscillating filter, and then I'm using the sines, but I'll show you with the squares quickly. Minor third, minor seventh. So if you imagine these two as sine waves, those are my intervals. They all come in here. And of course, washing that out in a load of effects. And I feel like if I practiced and kind of felt my way around, I could get some pressure sensitivity rather than it feeling like such a hard on and off. You can see as I wiggle my finger there, we can vary these levels. If you've got this far in the video, drop a gold sync down in the comments. Do you fancy a Goldfinger? Let us know. Head to patreon.com/DivKid to support what we do, to gain access to exclusives and to join the DivKid Discord community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!